JP Gotzi, one of your directors for the Coastal Virginia Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us on another edition of The Wave. Tonight's, as we like to always have, a special guest and a longtime friend, Mr. Mike Hilton. He's the head of the Beach Events, the organization that puts on all those wonderful concerts, parades, flying kites, chalking on the sidewalks, and everything else. He's going to tell us all about it and much more. Mike, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to be here and to be able to share what we do.
Hard to believe. I've been on that Beach Event Steering Committee for it'll be 20 years next year. Bobby Melati asked me to join back when we were doing the Mills Brothers concerts. Remember those?
Wow, I do remember. Yes.
How long have you been associated with them, Mike?
So this is my 19th year. So you only beat me by a year.
Well, I think we joined the same time because mine was is going to be 20 next year. So what's your official title? And IMG, which is the official company, tell our viewers what that is.
My current title is creative director. That's kind of been a moving target. We're very much a team that, we all kind of wear multiple hats and kind of move in and out and do different responsibilities and tasks as we need, which is one of the things that makes this job fun, is to have that kind of variety. So, but right now my focus is really on programming. Used to be a little more on marketing, but we're working with another person on our staff right now to handle more of the marketing aspect of it. So mainly the program aspect for me. Our company is I'm Going. Formerly, we were IMG, or Integrated Management Group. We're a private company that was founded in 2005, a local company. In 2009, we were able to secure the contract for entertainment at the Virginia Beach oceanfront.
And now Town Center too.
Well, and even prior to the oceanfront, we were also and still have been doing the management of the pavilion in Portsmouth, which has also had some interesting times the past couple of years. Well.
Yeah.
So first with the roof, and now with COVID. But our company has those two city contracts. But we also produce other concerts and other venues and other events here and there. So, but we're still very much, a local, sort of mom and pop company that's based here. We all live here. We're tied into the community here, and that's what we do.
How often do you get that contract renewed? So basically, you're employees of the city of Virginia Beach and the city of Portsmouth, correct?
Actually, no. We're employees of a private company, but we're contractors.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, basically independent contractors for both municipalities, but we work for a private company. On the beach event side, that contract comes up for renewal every 5 years. So, at that point, we'll bid again and hopefully present a slate of events that the city will like and bring us back.
Let's jump into COVID. We've obviously have seen how that's decimated the world, but certainly at Ocean, all the wonderful concerts that I love going down to, and thousands do. How did it affect you, and what's on the schedule for the remainder of this year, and then we'll talk about next year.
Sure. Well, the biggest impact for us was the cancellation of 12 major events this year. Our first event would have kicked off in April, middle of April, but all of those big events were canceled. And we worked very closely with the city of Virginia Beach. What also was challenging was that COVID guidelines and regulations were kind of constantly changing, and the numbers of people that you could have in an event were changing and kind of going back and forth. So we had to do a lot of pivoting, but most of our events were canceled. The one thing that we were able to salvage and pivot on was our Live on Atlantic program, which is the entertainment that we put on the street along Atlantic Avenue during the summer and in the parks. And we started that July 10 and were able to go through the end of August and then pick back up a Memorial weekend and do 3 nights. So, we normally put sidewalks along or stages along the sidewalk on Atlantic. We couldn't do that because of the proximity to guests and, trying to keep performers and guests safe. So we took all those musical acts and we moved them to the parks, to 17th Street and 24th Street. And because they were smaller, acoustic acts, solos, duos, they attracted a smaller crowd, which was the point of doing that. Landscape services sprayed circles on the turf in both parks that were 10 feet apart. We had signage and staff monitoring in the parks to encourage people to social distance. So we were kind of able to still put forward some entertainment that people appreciated and enjoyed while still kind of operating within the guidelines that we had.
How were they well attended? Fairly well attended?
Well, the challenging part was being capped. We could only allow so many people into the parks. We had a couple of performers on closed streets between Atlantic and Pacific, and we were, limited to the number of people that could watch those shows. So part of our strategy was we worked on a script with those performers to make sure they were constantly reminding the audience to socially distance. We did shorter shows so that a large crowd wouldn't build. So this was completely opposite from, what we normally do. We want to attract as many people as we can.
Sure.
But yet in this scenario, we were kind of trying to put the brakes on a little bit and entertain the people who were there, but not attract large crowds to the ocean front. It was it was strange for us.
Budget money is always a problem. It certainly has been for small businesses. I know that many of the restaurants down at the ocean front, we're going to have George K. on from Doughboys to do one of these shortly to talk about how they were affected.
Sure.
Budgets are tough. What part of your money comes from the city? How much of it comes from sponsorships? Because in the 20 years that I've been in those meetings, it seems like we're always trying to squeeze a dime out of a nickel.
Well, our funding comes from the city. There are different pots of money, tourism improvement program. There's funding that comes to us through taxes, hotel taxes. So the program sustains, hopefully sustains tourism at the oceanfront, helps with that. But, what we find is the cost, everything keeps going up and up. The cost of operations continues to rise. Talent fees continue to rise. Thankfully, sponsorship, other than this year, has been pretty good. And, we do rely on, hundreds of thousands of dollars to come in each year for sponsorship to help support the program. Some of our shows and events are ticketed events. Most of what we do is free, but some of the bigger ones are ticketed events. So there's ticket revenue that also helps, cover those costs.
How big is the budget? I mean, 10 million, 2 million? What's the overall money?
It's usually around 3 million, around 3 million.
3 million. Everybody thinks about Bobby Bellotti, Mike, when they think about beach events. As I said, he's the one that got me involved in it a long time ago. Is he still a factor in the organization?
Bobby is a tremendous resource for us. He's still involved because he loves it, and I think he'll keep doing it as long as he can, and as long as it makes sense for him to do that. And we welcome that involvement. He's just a wealth of knowledge. He has so many connections, with people in various, walks of life. And he has a lot of wisdom, institutional wisdom that we take advantage of and that we're happy to have.
Wisdom. Now, I've never heard that used with Bobby. I'm going to have to give him a call on that one. Mike Hilton joins us right here on the Coastal Virginia Chamber of Commerce, another episode of The Wave. In the few minutes we have before we had to wrap up, Mike, we're all big cheerleaders for what we consider the greatest city in America. Every dollar that's spent at the ocean front, Bobby used to say we get $1.70 back or $1.50 back, whatever it is in tax revenue from the hotels and restaurants, etc. What's that number? And is that accurate?
I've heard that number as well. I can't say for sure, but I've heard that number as well. And it's definitely an investment on the part of the city that pays dividends. It works, and people come to the resort. They have a great experience and they want to come back. And it's always marketing wise easier to for guests to come back who've had a great time than it is marketing wise to bring somebody here who's never been here. So it's an investment that pays off and people return and they have a great experience.
2021, when hopefully we get back to more of a normal way of life that we all hope we will, we're hoping that we're going to get back to that full slate of events. What do we have to look forward to, Mike?
Well, we'll still do our signature events like Monsters on the Beach, where we run, monster trucks on the beach.
On Mother's Day. On Mother's Day, right?
Mother's Day. The mothers love it. They bring the mothers. American Music Festival. The Live on Atlantic program, we'd like to extend and expand next summer because that's kind of the core of what we do during the height of the season. Because again, it creates a great value-added experience for our guests. So, we're kind of working on a plan A and a plan B. The plan A is the full slate, and we're hoping that, we're back to normal. Plan B is where we, take a little bit of a pivot, and based on what we learned this year, which was a tremendous amount of information, we think we can step into next year and be able to do some things.
Holiday lights at the beach, that, besides the monster trucks, I think that was the one event that usually we made some money off of. I don't know if that's not the case, but that's still going forward, right?
Holiday Lights is, and as we look at that, it's probably the safest thing we can do this year. So that launches on November 13, and again, that's where people in their own vehicles are driving down the boardwalk to view the light show. And we're working on a touchless ticketing system, to make interaction as the least that we can, and to make it safe, even safer for people. It's a great event. And we feel like the turnout this year is going to be huge. I think people are looking for things to do. They want to celebrate the holidays, and this is probably the safest event we can have.
Hey, Mike, last question. The one thing somebody did want me to ask is they thought that there should be more diversification, while at the same time they thought you guys do a great job, but they'd like to have seen, I guess, some more of the black artists that were younger. Guys like you and I love the Earth, Wind, and Fires and the Kool and the Gangs because we grew up on those. But if you're in your 20s, you want somebody. Do you ever have that beef in it? And is it true? How are you addressing it?
Well, I think we've worked hard to be diverse with our programming, with Funk Fest, which is always the last weekend of August, which is, an African-American audience and performers very well received. It's one of our biggest events every year. We have a Latin festival. This year also for Live on Atlantic, we were able to integrate into that program some great diversity music-wise, some fantastic younger, like you said, African American and Hispanic performers that we were able to weave into the program. We have auditions early in the season. We had those back in March, and we're able to audition and hire some great younger, more diverse talent for that program. So, and we were very happy with the results.
Excellent. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Mike Hilton of Beach Events, just a great guest and a longtime friend. We're glad that you joined us. Last thing I'll add is the big rumor on the beach is we're going to bring back the Elvis Festival. I thank you very much if we could do that.
That is the event that we used to get a lot of international press on. It was amazing. We'd get press calls from London, Australia, all kinds of places. It was
a fun time. Mike Hilton, I'm your host, JP Guscozzi. This has been another edition of the Coastal Virginia Chamber of Commerce, The Wave. We'll see you next time.